Talk about that right now. Sweet Gourmet in Tyler. So pretty much, how long have you been affiliated or owned it?
Okay.
How did everything start?
It's kind of a fun little story. I have actually been in business 17 years.
Wow.
This coming February will be 17 years. But
it's a long time.
It is. It's a long time. What some people will remember, and you may not, is a friend of mine actually started the store in 2006. He was from Long Island, and back then the HGTV home was being built out
I
at the
remember
lake.
that, yes.
And he saw that up there, and he thought, "I'll go to the South." He'd always lived in Long Island, you know, and he thought, well, I'm just going to move to the South. He had opened, I think it was about 16 Sweet Gourmets or stores like that of its type up on the island up there. And so he decided that he would sell his last store and move down here and try it in the South. So he did, and it wasn't, Tyler was not big enough for him. Being, you know, he ran
from
theater.
Long Island.
Yeah, in Manhattan. It was just a little too small. So he was here for a year. He bought the concept to Tyler, but he really still wasn't happy. He thought, I'd need to be at a bigger city. And so he had been open about 8 months, and I had had a job where I worked for a company out of Houston.
And what did you do?
I was a salesman.
There you go. I can't imagine that. You, a salesperson.
I sold electronics to cable TV networks.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, to keep the signals and stuff going. It's really a guy job.
They still need you.
Well, I still see some of those old customers. They come in the store.
I bet you do.
Yeah. So anyway, I had done that for a long, long time, and I was ready to kind of come off the road. And so I called him. I said, "Hey, let me just come work the Christmas season for you." He said, you know, in his accent, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, come on."
Yeah, come on.
So I started in September, about this time, 18 years ago. And I had been there, let's say we went through October and we were going into November, and he said, I'm not loving Tyler. And I said, well, what were you thinking? You know, it's such a small town. And he said, I guess I just didn't think it through. He goes, I want you to buy the store. That's how he said it. And I said,
what?
Yeah, that, Michael.
But you bought the farm, though,
I did.
so to speak.
I did. I bought it.
So pretty much, how did you plan to do this?
Well, I said, I tell you what, the store hadn't even been open a year. Let's let it be 1 year. So through that Christmas, it was a year. And he goes, okay. And he said, I'll get you a price and whatnot in January. So January rolled around, and he said, okay, here's your price. And I said, ooh, you know, I don't think I can do that. I was scared to death.
I bet you were.
So I didn't say anything to him for about 2 or 3 weeks, yet we were working together. And finally, he just came to me and he said, you know, what's the deal? And I said, okay, what do you think? And he said, I think you can do this. You're born sales, you can do this. So I have no formal college education or anything like that.
But did you have to put like a business plan together for like a banker or something like that?
Well, here's where that comes
in.
That scared me to death. I thought, what on earth? Because I had no way of knowing how to do all that. So my father-in-law was just a great man in so many people's eyes here in Tyler. And he had a lot of friends.
Who is he?
His name was Carter Gabriel.
Okay.
And he had a lot of friends that had been in business over the years. And anyway, I went to him and I talked to him about it. And he said, well, let's look at the books. He was real, you know, deep talker.
One of those.
Yeah, yeah. So long story short, we sent the books to the accountant, and he met with my accountant without me there. And she said,
you would have passed out.
I couldn't talk business at that point. I was like, oh my God, this is so out of the realm. But my accountant told him, your daughter-in-law can do this. There you go. So he said, okay. So he came to me and he said, this is how I think you can do it, and this is how, you know, we need to do it. Anyway. And I was scared to death, and I said, I'm so afraid of failing. And this almost makes me cry because and he goes, well, why, sugar? And I said, I don't want to embarrass the family. What if this flops and in a year, you know, I'm having to close it down and I have creditors and all this? And he said, well, honey, if you do, you're young enough that you can start over.
Oh, there you go.
So he was always positive, and he always, you know, lifted me up and said, you will survive and you can do this.